ready for disassembly now. This is my intense M16C. I'm going to be removing all of the components to put on a fresh build. It's time for me to move on now and try something different. The frame size is an XL. Suspension travel is 210mm. The design of the bike dates back to I think around about 2015. The geometry hasn't changed that much since then. The biggest difference compared to this one from the early versions is there's a slightly different shock linkage, slightly slacker head angle. With this variant I think it's 63.2 compared to the previous one, 63.5. I've owned it for about 2 years now, and I thought I'd just share some thoughts about the experience and how it's been. The axle threads in to the derailleur hanger side. So the locking bolt then just goes in with the collar, and then that kind of pinches that axle side in. So it's a bit of a weird one that you always have to undo this side first before then untightening this the opposite way to which you would normally do. And that's just one of the quirks with an intense. I'm not sure if they still do it now, but once you get used to it, it's fine. First 2 weeks of owning it, I was chasing around trying to quieten the bike down, and eventually I got to realise that that is the character of the bike. I've actually run the cables for the gear and the brake outside. Get this Gorilla Tape off. It's been invisi framed anyway, so that's just on top of the actual frame protection there, so I'll clean that up then as soon as that's done. Put various clips on it just to keep it tight to the frame. A bit of foam there just to buffer it, and then I use some insulation. I think it's for computer cables. You can pick it up on Amazon, so you can just uncoil it somehow. There we are. So it just pulls off there. That's good stuff. I'll use that for something else again. This was another bit as well that absolutely drove me crazy. The rear hugger. Put lots of foam on there. Not only would it vibrate and shake about and rattle in the top and lower bolts, even when you thread locked them, they would just work their way loose. I mean, it did add that little bit of extra style, and I did put a little bit of red in that engraved logo there. It was just an absolute pain in the arse, so in the end I just decided to take that out, and then what I did was add some carbon effect strip tape that you can buy. Bit of a closer view there. You can see where I put some carbon sticky tape on the inside of the stays. I also put some carbon around here as well, so that's kept that pretty good actually. An old Renthal grip there, insulating tape around there just to stop chain slap from there. And then same thing there, that'll all peel off, and at least it's all clear underneath there. So that's kept it looking nice there. That's the first time that's seen the light of day for a while. Oh, I could have just cut that, that would have been easier. Looking there. That's the stuff Rich book. Buying in a pack from Demon Tweaks. And you can just cut it into it. It's self-adhesive. And it really does help, especially a carbon frame. Just to give you that little bit of a protection. And it does give it a little bit more of a sort of a factory-ish look. Get the bottom bracket off now. Let's see. Which way? That's it. Oh, the joy of threaded bottom brackets. How much easier is that? Okay, yeah. Got the worst of it off for now. He's come in. All right. Yeah, that's what we want. On this side. Hey. You had an owner's manual. This box came with another model of Intense I bought that had torque wrench in there, air pump, and some various other booklets and things like that. So at least it was nice to be able to reference dimensions, component specs, and had an exploded through there, telling you all of the various individual parts with the part numbers so that they were easy to order. And I did change, I think, just a few top shock linkage bolts. I just changed the colours to a red anodized, which are there instead of the black. So you could kind of do a little bit of customization that way, and also giving you tutorials in there. Removing rear shock, triangle, and probably a lot of it that even now, after reading that, I probably think, oh right, that would have been easier doing it that way. But I think that is something that's missing from some of the bike brands. It's just nice to have something to pick up and read on paper instead of trying to go online and search it up. Back to our bare bones. Just like when I built it first, I'll give it a clean, and the final thing I've got to do then get the shock off and switch the bushings so that I can run that then on the new frame, and the shock that came from the new frame I'm probably going to mount on this then, and at least then that'll be a frame and a shock together then for this one to go to its new owner. Something else that's also interesting with this frame is it's asymmetrical rear triangle, so if you were to try and remove the shock on the non-drive side, there's no clearance there. But then if you notice there where that section is, if you have a look on the other side now, there's clearance there which allows you access then to remove the shock. And that's now fitted with the Fox Float X Performance Elite. The carbon, it just seems like it's a very solid layup, because when you ride it, it does make a racket, which isn't a bad thing because people can hear you coming. I think one of the biggest criticisms at the time, it had a very high bottom bracket. It felt like you were quite high up, and it felt a little bit top heavy. Started to get used to it and realised then as soon as you start to kind of feel the suspension working and go into its travel, the handling then actually is really good, and it's very settled as well, and for high speed terrain it's phenomenal. Join me in the next one. I'm going to be building that one.